Hello and welcome to our English news coming to you from Canal, Algérie. First, the top stories of the news. The President of the Republic is back to Algiers after his official visit to Italy, crowned with strategic partnership, and the Algerian nationals reiterate their attachment to their motherland. The President of the Republic is received by the Vatican Pope, displaying the special relations binding the two sides. Algeria decides to adopt immediately the reciprocity principle with France following the decision taken by the French Interior Ministry relating to handling the diplomatic bags. Hello, once again, first in our news. The President of the Republic, Abdelmadjid Tebboune, is back to Algiers after his official visit to Italy. He was welcomed at the international airport of Algiers by Prime Minister Nadir Al-Arbawi, the Minister Delegate to the National Defense Minister, PNA Chief of Staff Army General Said Shingriha, and the Private Principal Secretary to the Presidency, Boualem Boualem. After listening to the national anthem and saluting the national flag, the President of the Republic reviewed the detachment of the Republican Guards who paid him the honors. The presidential plane was escorted while entering the Algerian airspace following the end of this official visit by jet fighters belonging to the People's National Army. Still with the same story, on the last day of this official visit to Italy, the President of the Republic, Abdelmadjid Tebboune, was received by the Pope Leo XIV during his visit to the Vatican. The meeting underscores the strong ties binding Algeria and the Vatican. It is as well telling evidence of the respect and goodwill of the two sides to consolidate the spirit of mutual cooperation. Melissa Kebesh with more details.
The President of the Republic, Abdelmadjid Tebboune, paid a visit to the Vatican. Upon his arrival, the President was received by the guardian of the papal household. The President then proceeded to shake the hands of those present. President Tebboune was then received by Pope Leo XIV. The two sides reviewed bilateral relations as well as the latest development on the international scene. They also underlined the importance of inter-religious dialogue and cultural cooperation in establishing peace in the world. On this occasion, the two sides exchanged symbolic gifts. The head of state gifted Pope Leo a souvenir engraved of the olive tree of St. Augustine and a copy of Lemir Abdel Qadir's message, the founder of the modern Algerian state, in addition to a branch of St. Augustine's olive tree that goes back to the 20th century and that exists till now in Sougaras province. As for the Pope, he gifted the President a sculpture as a message of peace and humanism, as well as a book on the history of the Vatican, before taking a souvenir photo. The President of the Republic, alongside the delegation accompanying him, met with high religious dignitaries at the Apostolic Palace.
Souvenir de cette visite, cette vase du musée Vatican.
On this occasion, a symbolic gift was offered by the Vatican's museum to President Tebboune.
C'est un grand plaisir de vous donner.
The visit reflects the excellent relations binding Algeria to the Vatican, based off shared perspectives in favor of just causes and implementation of humanitarian values relating to peace and justice in the world. The President of the Republic then visited the Palace of the Vatican, where he received explanations on the different museums retracing the history of the state of Vatican City. And before leaving the city of Rome, the President of the Republic had met with members of the Algerian community settled abroad, who welcomed him on the occasion of his official visit to the friendly country. For his part, the head of state saluted them and interacted with them. This meeting allowed them to reaffirm their strong attachment to their homeland.
فرحة كبيرة للجالية الجزائرية المتواجدة في إيطاليا.
An immense joy prevails among our community settled here. We thank President Abdelmajid Tebboune for this visit. We cannot describe our happiness, especially for the accords made with the Italian authorities.
Voilà, c'est un très grand jour pour nous, la communauté.
It's a big day for our Algerian community settled in Italy. We are very proud of our president and for the agreement signed. As an Algerian woman living here in Italy, I am very proud of the presence of President Abdelmajid Tebboune. We are very happy.
نشكر سيادة وفخامة رئيس الجمهورية عبد المجيد تبون We thank the President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, for his visit to Italy and for the signing of partnership agreements, especially the one related to driver license.
اهتمام خاص بالوثيقة يعني اللي كنا متعينين عليها هي برخصة السياقة ونشكر جزيل الشكر وتحية الجزائر ويحيى عميد تبون الله يرحم الشهداء.
Subsequently, President Tebboune left the Italian capital following his official visit there, a visit that reflected indeed the profound and historical relations between the two brotherly peoples, and an opportunity to enshrine the political will of both heads of state to further enlarge the prospects of cooperation and to lay the foundation of a renewed bilateral partnership.
To a related story now, during this visit, the Foreign Affairs Minister Ahmed Attaf chaired the ceremony of unveiling a commemorative plaque tribute paid to the late war veteran Tayyib Bulhruf. The event was attended by the Deputy Mayor of Rome, with recalling that Tayyib Bulhruf, who represented the provisional government in Rome, is a symbol of the glorious liberation war, according to the Foreign Affairs Minister. To another story now, and representing the President of the Republic, the War Veterans Minister Al-Eid Rabiga paid a visit to the Embassy of Bangladesh here in Algiers, where he extended condolences following the crash of a fighter plane in Dhaka, claiming more than 30 victims. The Foreign Affairs Ministry said on Thursday that it had learned with surprise the measure taken to prevent accredited officials of the Algerian embassy in France to have access to Paris airports to handle diplomatic bags. Following this move, the chargé d'affaires of the French embassy in Algeria was received at the Foreign Affairs Ministry for clarification regarding this move. Algeria's chargé d'affaires in France contacted the relevant department of the French Ministry of Europe and Foreign Affairs. The efforts undertaken by both sides confirmed that this measure was taken by the French Interior Ministry without the knowledge of the French Foreign Ministry, infringing thereby the basic rules of diplomatic practice, a serious violation of the proper functioning of the Algerian diplomatic mission in France, and a clear violation of the Vienna Convention relating to diplomatic relations. In the light of this situation, Algeria decides to do likewise in line with the reciprocity principle strictly and immediately, while keeping the right to take all the appropriate legal measures to defend its rights and ensure the protection of its diplomatic mission in France. You are still watching Canal Algérie. Coming up in our news, a severe famine is threatening the Palestinian people, deprived of the least medical care given the lack of medicines and equipment. Welcome back to our news. To France now. Bruno Retailleau's latest broadside against the French president has cracked open new rifts inside the government and sharpened a hardline stance towards Algeria, all as part of a gamble to rally the right ahead of 2027. Melissa Lila Balaman has the details.
Donc on a d'un côté la France qui s'engage autour de moi, et on a de l'autre côté la France qui s'ensauvage. D'un côté, la France des héros, et je vais vous dire de façon brute, de l'autre côté, la France des salauds.
Bruno Retailleau went all out, drawing a stark line between what he qualifies the France of heroes, those who uphold the nation's values, and another France he brands as drifting into chaos and betrayal. With that provocation, he is once again fanning division, this time right at the heart of government. From his post at the Interior Ministry, Retailleau has stepped up his attacks on the president, testing the patience of Macron's entire camp. In Valeurs Actuelles, he declared Macronism finished and blasted what he sees as a soft approach to Algeria. This latest jab was one too many for France's president, who cancelled the meeting with Retailleau at the last minute, leaving Prime Minister François Bayrou to handle it instead. Behind the scenes, the fallout is obvious. Macron's allies did not mince their words. Former Prime Minister and current Education Minister Elisabeth Borne condemned Rotaille's bid to fracture national unity, calling for mutual respect to hold the extremes at bay. But this clash runs deeper than harsh words. It is a showdown over ideology, a far-right wing pushing a tougher nationalist agenda, with open hostility towards Algeria as a rallying cry. It is a clear play to win over conservative and far-right voters ahead of 2027, but it is also straining government ranks and putting fresh pressure on ties with Algiers. At a time when France faces big challenges, Rotaille's anti-Algerian rhetoric is more than a headline. It is a calculated move to stake out ground on the right and far right as the next election looms.
Melissa Lila Balaman reporting on the French file. Still with international news, Gaza is facing dire and escalating famine as the vast majority of its population is experiencing catastrophic levels of food insecurity given the Zionist blockade and the destruction of local infrastructure. Melissa Kabash explains.
Before the eyes of the world, innocent children are dying from famine. The Zionist entity isn't willing to take their land only, but their souls as well, with it blocking the entrance of humanitarian aid that includes basic needs for survival. As seen in this footage, hundreds are waiting to feed their families, but unfortunately, it will not be the case for many of them, as the food available will not be sufficient to feed all these starving mouths. In hospitals, the situation is dire. With a lack of equipment and medicine, doctors can no longer accomplish their job the proper way, especially that many of them are working with an empty stomach.
There is no medicine, nor surgical interventions, there's nothing. My cousin kept bleeding till death. What's happening to us is horrible. We have nothing to eat. Our children are dying from hunger. We are dying every day from this sufferance. Many of our colleagues are fainting at work due to fatigue and famine. Some came working on an empty stomach for the past 2 days.
The Zionist deadly strikes shut down 18 hospitals. Those remaining are partially working. Out of 163 health centers, less than 40% are able to provide help. Sadly, the wounded have to wait for several hours. Many die while waiting for medical care.
I've been waiting outside the operation room for 2 days. I've been bleeding the entire time. Doctors are tired. With the lack of sleep and food, they can only do so much. As for children, unfortunately, many bleed to death.
The escalating famine in Gaza represents a catastrophic failure of humanity, where the deliberate obstruction of aid combined with ongoing hostilities have turned food into weapons. For now, the world's response will define not only the future of Gaza, but the values of the international community.
A critical humanitarian situation indeed. From the Middle East to the Maghreb region, a new report ranks Morocco among the worst countries for work-life balance, spotlighting long hours, low pay and fragile system weighed down by corruption, leaving many Moroccans with no choice but to speak out against injustice. Melissa Leila Banaman once again.
Morocco ranks 51st out of 60 countries in Remote's 2025 report, exposing both harsh working conditions and deeper governance failures. Moroccan employees clock 44 hours a week, among the highest in the world, yet earn daily minimum wage of just $12 and only get 15 days of paid leave a year. The report highlights how the country's work environment falls far short of international standards for fair pay, healthcare, and work-life balance. This mirrors wider issues: persistent corruption, favoritism, and misuse of public funds under the Makhzen system, leaving many Moroccans feeling powerless and betrayed by normalization deals with the Zionist entity, agreements the people widely reject. Faced with long hours, poor benefits, and deep-rooted corruption, more Moroccans see protest as their only way to demand justice and real reform.
And this is the last report in our news for tonight. Tomorrow, another day of the news. Keep tuning to our channel programs. Take care. Bye-bye for now.